Good morning, thriving warriors and those who wish they were. Alexa, what is the date?
Today is Wednesday, November 9th.
Great. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 6:16 a.m. Enjoy your morning, Edward.
Great. Alexa, what is the forecast?
Right now in Amargosa Valley, it's 43 degrees Fahrenheit with partly cloudy skies. Today's forecast has clouds and showers, with a high of 56 degrees and a low of 35 degrees.
Okay, yesterday was 43 to 64. The day before that was 39 to 68. So the high is getting lower, people. All right, the day after Election Day. Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Charlene. Hopefully Diana will be on soon. Yes, I will be going to Pahrump Rain Man, Camp Liberty, Camp Rain Man, whatever we're now calling it. I will be there closer to 7:30, I guess. I have to be in Las Vegas back again at 8 for another Medicare meeting. And boy, can I tell you, Medicare is great. Now I understand why people say, have you signed up for Medicare yet? Wow. So, and we have to have a great Medicare person. Anyone who needs Medicare, we have the best Medicare person available that there is. Michelle Weston, who I met at the Vegas, the Metro Chamber of Commerce. She got us involved. Thank you, Michelle. We're always indebted to you forever for that. So many great things have happened. Okay, but here we are. Career services, where our goal is to help you move from point A to point B. How do we do that? Several ways, starting with this podcast. Because what is on this podcast? Well, this podcast is the tip of the spear to help getting you along the path of success, point A to point B, where B is better. So inside, down below, in the description down below, that's where the meat of this is. This is just the stem winding part. Uh-oh. Somebody just walked into the building, setting off the alarm. Now the daily struggle. Now the daily chore, being able to log in, to set the alarms on pause for a little while. There. Oh, good. It's a very annoying sound. Okay, anyway, down below, in the notes down below, description down below, we have links. One link is to our 4-week basic training course. This is week 1, day 3. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also is a link to the motivational video. And I would urge you to please watch this video. It's jam-packed with a lot of stuff and they're kind of long. So there's not little sound bites. Good morning, Diana. There's not little tiny memes that I can gather. There's long 2-minute threads that are really, really good. Chemistry experiment. Let me write that down. Chemistry experiment. Okay, make sure you have your pen and paper for this. The goal is to remember, not to just be entertained or aggravated or nudged. It's to actually learn. Okay, another thing we have in there is a bunch of notes and things that we do, phone numbers, other links to this other services we provide our members: clothing, housing, food, hygiene, transportation, skills training, foundational employment, and last but not least is Seth Godin's transcript of his blog post. Okay, so all of that is contained down below. This is just kind of to motivate you to build a habit or routine to start your day out right. It's part of our goals, our daily goals, our routines. Mazel tov. How do we do it? What is our approach? What is our theme, our underwriting theme, overriding theme? Our theme is you want to get from point A to point B. It's simple. Adjust the camera properly. No, it's simple. ... So today's little breadcrumb, it's simple. Start your new life today. Start your new life today. Find the things that you want to change and then start changing today. Find something you don't like to do. You aren't happy with, you feel life is gloomy. Start a photo album, picture thing. Just have your camera and just say, I'm going to take a picture or two of something I find beauty in. Let's see. Diana says, I'm so excited. I start UMA 1125 for Human Behavior Health and Science for my associate's degree. Good job, Diana. Good job. That is a goal. That is a plan. Charlene did something this week. I think Todd might have done something. I'm getting Medicare done. We got 2 new veterans yesterday that are at Camp Rain Man. We might be bringing them up here later, a little bit later, once they get used to the Pahrump-Tucky, used to Camp Rain Man. The goal for them today is just to kind of chill out, relax, get to know the area, just confirm to them, guys, there's no pressure, no pressure. Don't feel like you have to do anything. Just, be cool, calm, and collected. Stay here, find a room, get to meet the people, hang out with Sayer, hang out with Todd, help make food. We've got plenty of food from the Venetian, donated. Bacon, eggs, potatoes. You should have a great breakfast this morning for people. Okay, so our theme is, if you want to get from point A to point B, it's simple. ... Start your new life today. Don't wait, and start with something small. Just start with something small. You're not good at this, then try doing that. It's really explained well in the video. Another thing that's explained well, or another analogy, metaphor, would be this thought experiment. Say you're in chemistry and you're going to mix some chemicals. So you have your beaker and you have your Bunsen burner. Good morning, Richard. You have your stuff. Are you get started making that?
What's that?
You're going to get started making that?
Am I going to get started on this?
Yeah, good. Okay, so I was just talking. So Richard just brought in bacon, eggs, and potatoes. Okay, but chemistry. You go in, you have your beaker, you have your Bunsen burner, you have a bunch of chemicals, you have some water, some fluid. You mix the chemicals up. You apply heat to the point where there's a phase transition from what they are to something else. And once they become something else, when you're done, they can't go back to what they were before. For those people who get scared by the word chemistry, just think in terms of you have a bunch of ingredients, flour, sugar, butter, etc. You mix them up with water, you put them in an oven and in a pan, and out comes a cake. When it's done, you can never go back to the way it was before. And that's the same thing with our character and our personality, is we start out with a bunch of potential. And then you apply heat, which is discipline. Apply heat, discipline, which is discipline. And then you get something new, something different, something better. Hopefully, if you followed the instructions right, not too much heat, too little heat, not too long, not too short, Goldilocks conditions, and you get something wonderful. Well, that applies to people as well. So just think about that. You have to apply heat. It's not just having experiences. It's not just listening to this video. You have to actually do something to activate it, like starting with remembering it or doing something that you wrote down. Okay, you get some points for the fact that you are taking the time to listen to the video and sharing the video with other people, encouraging them to watch it. But the real thing happens when you actually expend energy, do things to make it work. Okay, then you'll never go back to be the same. Another important meme from today's talk, which is very, it might be 3 minutes, but the thing that starts with, why walk in the opposite direction of your dreams? Why walk in the opposite direction of your dreams? And then he goes on to give some examples of that. And lastly, do the things that average people don't like to do. That's another way to get from point A to point B. Get from point A to point B is to do things that average people won't do. Okay, cool, great. Let's talk about the TED Talk for today. This is week 1, day 3. Johann Hari, everything you think you know about addiction is wrong. From a neuroscience perspective, we understand that dopamine is highly, highly, highly addictive. It gets you to do things that you might not consciously want to do. Now, we're not going to talk about that on a neuroscience level. This is the Johann Hari thing. Johann Hari's thing is addiction is lack of good social connections. That people who have addictions are people who do not have good relationships with other people. And he goes on to talk about that, but it's not that there are chemical hooks. It's not chemical hooks in your brain that if you have meth or heroin or LSD a few times, you will become addicted. No, it's not that. It's far simpler to that. You have bad connections. And the experiment now that is done with that was taking the original experiment was rats in a cage with water, to choose water or drugged water. They would choose the drugged water to the point of death. And the belief, the premise was no rational creature will intentionally do things to kill themselves. Therefore, there must be something in the drugged water that gets hooked into the brain so that the rat can't stop drinking it. And then Bruce Alexander did another series of experiments saying, hey, maybe it's not the water, it's the cage. He's in a cage with nothing in it. Let's create Rat Park with balls and fun and cheese and things to do and other rats. And they found out that when rats had good connections, they didn't use the drug water. So, and then he has other examples of people, and it basically comes down to you need to have good social connections. You need to let serotonin and oxytocin do their thing. You cannot just be controlled by dopamine. Okay, cool, thumbs up. Let's see, what does Seth Godin have to say today, the day after the historic elections, where the last time I looked, it looked like we have a new governor in the state of Nevada, Joe Lombardo, and we have a new senator, but let's see if that's still true. Adam Laxalt. Let's see. Nevada election results. Okay, let's see what it says. Looks like Adam Laxalt is holding his lead, 80, let's see what percent, 75% of the vote counted. And this is how the state of Nevada breaks down. Mostly Republican, just Clark County, which is about half of the population. And it looks like Joe Lombardo is going to be the new governor with 50.6% versus 45.8% of the vote. So it looks like two good things happening on a national basis. Let's see what we can see. Oops. Let's see what we can see on a national basis. Fox News. Let's see, the newest thing is, it looks like as of right now, 48 seats Democrat, 48 seats Republican. There's 4 seats still in play. One of them is in Nevada. That's the Adam Laxalt Masto one. Looks like Arizona might be going Republican. It looks like Alaska might go, no, Arizona Democrat, Alaska Republican, and looks like Wisconsin might go. So 3 of the 4 remaining. Georgia, unclear. So, and there are 64 House seats left in play. The Republicans need 19 more seats to have a majority. Still counting in the West, but it looks like Southern Nevada is going to go blue. Looks like there's a lot of blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's going to be, looks like it's going to be tough because California is mostly Democrat. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, Seth Godin, using your tickets. Well, it's tempting to view our days as an amusement park with unlimited rides. That's not really true. It might not maximize our impact or enjoyment either. In fact, we have a limited number of tickets to trade in. Limited time, limited opportunities, limited money, and other resources. How will you spend today's tickets? How will you spend today's tickets? Reading that reminded me of the old Disneyland thing where you buy a pack of tickets, a book of tickets, and there were some E-tickets in there, some C tickets. So they forced you to go on the crappy rides. You couldn't just go on the Matterhorn all day long. But you could buy other E-tickets if you wanted. So using your tickets. While it's tempting to view our days as an amusement park with unlimited rides, that's not really true. Might not maximize our impact or enjoyment either. Correct. Living in a pleasure bubble might not be the best way to go. All righty then. So here we are at the end of our day, not day, our morning or talk. It's a long one, 17 in, but it was a historic day yesterday. Today's an historic day, the day after the election that could be taking back the country, changing the direction from inflation, high prices, but it's too soon to know. And so quickly, yesterday was the only easy day. Do your best to make today a little bit tougher because it's an uphill climb from point A to point B. That's why it's worth it. The obstacle is the path, as the Stoics say. It's not the destination, it's the journey. So make yesterday the only easy day. Try, push yourself a little bit harder, turn up the heat a little bit more on your Bunsen burner to mix the chemicals in your proverbial beaker or in the pan in your oven if you don't like chemistry. And there's many ways to do that. Well, thank you, Diana, but I don't think that's true. We could say God deserves the credit, or our brother Jesus deserves the credit. We had a good fellowship last night. According to Richard, I was sleeping much of the time. I mean, not really, dozing much of the time. It was a long day. So here we go. This is the end. So can somebody say and cut? And cut. There's one and cut from Richard. And waiting for somebody, waiting. There we go. Charlene, and cut. I will see you people in Rain Man around 7:30.